Welcome to the Verdant Verdict. LSU took down Alabama. We knew it was possible. I'm proud of my boys, but most importantly, I'm surprised that Bryce Young didn't show up in the way I thought he would. He had some
Rough
moments
night.
where he flashed a little bit, and I was like, man, this is a dangerous guy. It's not someone that I want to be underestimating. For sure, not someone that I want to see on the other end of the field if I'm a defender. But, big moments. Shout out Jarek, Bernard Converse. Big time interception. You threw one right into your hands in the end zone. Completely changed the pace of the game, in my opinion. I was thrilled to see this happen. I mean, back to back top 10 upsets for LSU. Like I said, we thought it was possible, but for it to actually come to fruition and for us to actually be able to see that right here in front of our own eyes was just unreal. We're witnessing history. Well, David, what was your take of this? How did you react? And most importantly, how are you feeling after a big LSU win?
I think that was probably the first game where we've seen LSU play complete football from quarter one to quarter four. We've had good games, but this was unbelievable. This was a game you had to watch. You had to be there. The stadium clocked in at 133 decibels. That's literally dangerous. That's louder than an ambulance. The game, the atmosphere was insane. The pressure on those players too to come in there. We're going against Alabama. This is a team from the beginning of the season after that Florida State loss. People were like, dang, Bama's gonna come in. They're gonna wash us. Even leading up to the game, when we've seen what Jayden Daniels can do, when we've seen what the offense and the defense are capable of, people are like, oh, Bama's Bama. They're gonna come in. They're gonna take the game. But we held our own the whole time. This wasn't a second half team. This was a four-quarter team throughout the entire game. Jayden Daniels just boosting his draft stock, boosting his Heisman potential.
And getting the respect that he deserves.
He
I've been
deserves it.
trying to sing the praises of Jayden Daniels for months on end,
JD's him.
and it seems like he's finally getting that credit.
He's
And
him.
I love giving players flowers when they deserve their flowers and when, especially when they're not getting them. Jayden Daniels, coming off of two big games, had a great Florida game, had a great Ole Miss game, comes into Alabama off of a bye week. Alabama has a bye week as well. Both teams are fresh, both teams are ready, both teams are locked and loaded.
100%.
Huge things were at stake here for both teams. Now you see Alabama probably getting bounced out of the college football playoffs entirely.
Most likely.
We're in the driver's seat of the SEC West. The SEC West is ours
It's
now.
ours
LSU
now.
took that. We're in the driver's seat
We're
in
right
that.
there.
And now you see Brian Kelly, his plan and everything come to life. We were all
It's
questioning
amazing.
after the Florida State loss and after rough patches, especially like Tennessee games
Yeah.
and whatnot. Like, man,
Yeah.
what's going on? But you know what? They figured it out. They're getting it done. And I'm proud to see this team growing and what it has. They've developed. They've gotten the schemes down pat. And most importantly, they bought into their roles. They know now that this is, winning football. We can go out here. We can beat two top 10 teams back to back. We can bust into the college football rankings at number 10. Who knows what we're going to be at now? I think that LSU deserves to be number 6 or number 7 in the college football playoff ranking now. Y'all comment, where do you think LSU will be in this college football playoff? You got a lot of good teams, but you got a lot of fluctuation as well. You got Bama losing. You got Tennessee losing. You got Clemson losing.
Wow.
You got a lot of
It's a crazy week.
big games where you're like, man, this changes things a little bit. So make sure to comment, leave your take. We'll be reacting to them all live long. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and even share the stream. But going more into this game, big performances that I'd like to highlight. First and foremost, Mason Taylor. Shout out to the
Oh
true
my
freshman.
God.
I mean, this kid was playing
He's
high
him.
school football less than 365 days ago. So Mason Taylor, 3 catches, a touchdown, and most importantly, that 2-point conversion heard round the world.
Sealed it.
Almost sent the
Sealed
entire
it.
stadium into a frenzy. It came unglued. Stadium is now filling with fans on the field for the second game in a row. And
was
the Tiger
amazing.
Athletic Foundation, like they said on the broadcast, has that checkbook open and ready.
They got it.
It don't matter.
250K? That's nothing to them. Let's go. Take it.
It's what it's all about, and LSU culture. Look who's on the sideline. We got Shaq pointing down the field. Go, young man.
Go, young man.
Dude, we got John Emery hitting people with a
Hey,
nice look.
that was
get
nice
back.
by Emery. That was nice by him.
Welcome to the SEC, John Emery. I'm so glad that he's back and able to show everyone what he's capable of. I got to watch John Emery at Destrand High School, and man, he's one in a million, one in a billion. Quite frankly, he's really one of a kind. Looking at the defense, though, the defense showed up. 3 field goals in a row. Alabama didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. One of my big keys was the defense has to get active early, and they're going to have to bite back. They can't
100%.
get bitten and expect to be able to just react and have Alabama, kind of keel over in the second half like a couple other of these teams have. However, they answered the call. B.J. Ojolari, Harold Perkins on the line at the same time. What a
Hey.
great schematic difference that made. It really boosted LSU. It really boosted their chance. It
That
boosted
was
the pressure.
insane.
You saw
That was
Bryce Young getting
insane.
hit over and over and over.
Having BJ and Perkins on the field at the same time was Matt House is he's really doing what he's doing. Like he's a genius right now. I mean, Bryce Young had no time in that pocket. It was always collapsing. We've seen great plays by Makai Wingo, BJ coming in. Oh my God. If I see BJ coming at me, I'm letting the ball go too. They're getting pressure. They're applying. They're hitting him. They're hitting him, forcing him to make bad throws. And we've seen what happened. He tried to scramble. He tried to keep the play alive in that first quarter. Boom. Pick. The whole game shifted. The whole momentum from that moment forward when Jarrett caught that pick, it was like, wow,
And what
we're
a
in
big
here.
moment of redemption for Jorg Bernard Converse. You know, he's been finding his role in this scheme and he's been doing a pretty good job of it, but
Yeah.
that just was the icing on the cake. There was a lot of moments throughout here where I saw a lot of people cutting their teeth and getting their stripes and showing them like, hey, I'm ready for SEC football. Matter of fact, I'm ready for college
Yeah.
football, playoff football. I'm ready
100%.
to move into the top four. I'm ready to try to push this bus to Atlanta. Let's go show Georgia, the defending national champions, what we're talking about. Stetson Bennett, I think, he's going to have a lot of trouble if he
He
faces
will.
this type of defensive pressure. Now, that's a whole different beast in and of itself. That offense is very efficient, defense is lights out. But at the end of the day, we got to start putting these things into perspective. After a big
100%.
game like this, it looks like the SEC West is ours to lose. We have an easy Arkansas game coming up. They lost to
Easy. They
Liberty.
lost to Liberty. That was
Like,
crazy.
what's going
I
on?
didn't expect
Malik
that at
Willis is
all.
sitting at home eating popcorn, like, man, look at this here, dude. And then now you got Texas A&M in shambles. Jimbo Fisher looks like a clown. I can't put it
Yeah,
any differently.
it's
Jimbo
ugly.
Fisher's looking rough. And UAB, I mean, we can probably bet the house on that UAB game. I mean, look, people are commenting. I even had someone comment that underestimating them will be our downfall. But look, I
Ooh.
think that UAB, the Blazers, I'm gonna sleep on you. Matter of fact, I could sleep 2-3 days on you. I don't think that this is something that I'd be willing to worry about. Yeah,
Listen,
we've seen big things
is
happen, but we're on a roll.
Walker Howard's gonna be in by halftime. He's gonna get his reps in. I mean, we got that. Come on, UAB. Let's relax, there. We're not gonna fall to them.
It's going to be a great game, especially seeing someone like Walker Howard being able to get those reps and being
Yeah.
able to, kind of show some flashes of what that QB competition might look like going to the summer. But what do you think about it? Do you think Jayden Daniels might, I don't know, consider coming back? Brian Kelly's put him in an incredible situation
Yeah.
to just blossom as a star in the SEC.
I think if Jayden can do whatever he wants. He can go to the league right after this season, but if he does come back, I think that'll just be a testament to what Brian Kelly's building over there. Brian Kelly's building this culture, and if Jayden Daniels wants to come back for a second run in the SEC, really solidify who he is as a quarterback, I think there'll be nothing wrong with that. He'll have a team around him. We have tenfold recruits are coming in. I mean, after that game, did you see all those recruits that
Bruh.
said, I'm ready to come to LSU and they're coming to work hard? Jayden Daniels, as you talk to the players over the week, they said more and more he's becoming that leader in the locker room, that leader at practice. He was a little quiet at first. He wasn't talking much. It was more of the defensive guys, some of the older guys that's been there for a while that have been like taking it. But the more they go into practice, the more he's voicing himself out. And you can see that translate directly into the field. I mean, he's taking risks that he wasn't going to do week one. He wasn't going to let that ball go deep week one. He probably would have ran it instead of waiting in that pocket, being patient. We see that the more he's in the system, the more he trusts Brian Kelly and he's with this team. It's like he's becoming that NFL quarterback. So I think one more year to really solidify those rough edges that he has. And I think, yeah,
I,
it'd be
I
great.
agree. I think, Jaden Daniels is definitely going to have to consider returning because one year, especially this year, I'm not too sure if it'll be enough to boost him into
Yeah,
the top 3 rounds,
yeah.
top 4 rounds. Like I wouldn't be comfortable leaving LSU, leaving this huge starting job because it's his. If he
This
wants
is
to stay, he's going to keep it. Now, that begs the question because if we're both on terms with Jayden Daniels staying to return, and what does this mean for guys like Garrett Nussmeier? What does this even mean for guys like Walker Howard, who expected maybe to go out here and start in his sophomore year, but true freshman or excuse me, redshirt freshman?
I think Nuss might hit the transfer portal. I mean, does he want to sit another year behind Jaden Daniels? I'm not so sure about that. He might have to go find a potential suitor for him to go and play some football. I mean, you only have so much time until it's time to. Are we going to the league or are we done here?
Yeah, and look, Nussmeier, I think is incredible talent, incredible potential. I love the kid. I mean, he's got great confidence, great poise, and you could see he has it in between the ears. and he's going to be able to put together a great career. He's got a great support system. His father's a great, intelligent coach who's,
Dog.
making gems in the NFL. He's made gems at Alabama. He's been around the
He's
block once
there
or twice. So I think that Garrett Nussmeier is in the right hands. He's in the right situation,
for
and
sure.
it would definitely be quite the conundrum for the Nussmeier family and what to do in that situation if Jayden Daniels is going to return as a starter. Where do you take things from here? It definitely would be a calculated decision, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't rule out him staying just for the simple fact that, he chose LSU
Yeah,
and LSU has strong ties to it. So maybe, that relationship, because I spoke to Nussmeier this summer and he highlighted how it's not even like a rough competition. They're like family, and you see it when they're celebrating.
yeah,
Nussmeier's
for sure.
embracing everybody. So maybe, he just takes some time, takes the experience. It could go really either way. And then, look, those are going to be some of the tougher situations that we'll have to handle. But at the end of the day, it's going to get a little bit easier for LSU as we move into this Brian Kelly era. They got a lot of wins under their belt. The recruits, as we were saying, are infatuated with
They
the
love it.
energy
They
and the
love it.
culture and the whole atmosphere of Tiger Stadium. Yeah, they love it. It's hard not to love. It's one of the best environments in college football. I think that LSU offers something to its players that you can't get anywhere else. You get a lot of loyalty. The fan bases are tied to you, and quite frankly, that phrase "Forever LSU" it holds value. They're
He's
playing pictures and highlights of Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and the whole 103,000 person stadium erupting. I mean, they're legends forever.
forever, forever.
So I think that the ties to this school are deeper than most, especially the culture, the tradition, and everything that we have going on here. I think that holds value. So going into the Brian Kelly era, I'd expect them to continue to land the recruits they're landing, to continue to land the big guys, continue to make large leaps and bounds over the competition. I mean, look at Nick Saban. He's definitely going to be sweating this offseason when he's trying to put the pieces together and figure out how to answer back when LSU comes to Bryant Denny. Because that would be something if we take one next year. And quite frankly, how does Alabama move on from this? Bryce Young's gone,
It'll be tough.
and they're already one of the worser disciplined Alabama teams.
Yeah,
I mean, those penalties back to back to
it
back.
wasn't
They
good. It wasn't good at all.
they gave us uh, plenty of first downs, and I'm thankful for it. But
Very.
I don't know what's going on. Is it Nick Saban's age? Is he not able to have a good enough grip? Is he not in the mix of things and he had to give a couple responsibilities up? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the players? Or is it just LSU? It's simply just is the better team through and through.
A couple years ago, this penalty thing would have been fixed by game one. You'd have seen Nick Saban on that sideline, red. You'd have been like, "Wah." Next game, those penalties would have been flat done. But I mean, this team, like week by week, we just see. I know they had 17 penalties against Tennessee. They cleaned it up for their Mississippi State game, but then they come back to Death Valley and it's penalty after penalty, and I'm not sure what exactly it is. I'm probably gonna lean to Nick Saban just doesn't have a grip on that team as he used to. He's probably had to let some responsibilities go. His age is getting up there. He can't. He probably just can't, do what he used to do. And
Right.
that's one of
Yeah.
those things you just gotta say, okay, we have talent. We're lacking some discipline. Is our talent great enough to overshadow this lack of discipline, or is it the other way around it? Right now, it's looking like their discipline needs to get up because that talent
Yeah.
isn't helping that much.
And there's even several questionable comments being made, like Nick Saban's talking about players looking at their individual stock rather than getting the 10-win season. It seems like he's kind of seeing the writing on the wall in a sense that this season is just not theirs. They
Yeah,
haven't gone into the Iron Bowl against Auburn with two losses since 2010. This is the first
sheesh.
time Nick Saban in the greater part of a decade, a little bit over, has been in this type of situation. This is a very pressure filled environment. We got Carl Dunn in the chat saying one of the greatest games ever in Tiger Stadium history.
For
Brian
sure,
Kelly's ahead of
for
schedule.
sure.
I agree, man. Brian Kelly had us ranked. We lost the ranking, unfortunately, but now we're right back in it. We're
Right
number
back.
7. We're in the top
Number
10 of the country.
7.
If you would have told me after the Florida State game, hey, after that Bama game, not only would you win, not only would you upset top 10 opponents in consecutive meetings, you beat
Man,
Ole Miss, you beat Bama, and now you're sitting on the brink of a potential SEC championship game. You got Daniel Roof in the chat saying, "What's your honest opinion about us getting to the SEC championship?" My honest opinion is it's happening. All we have is Arkansas, UAB, and A&M. look, our toughest task is going to be the road game against A&M. That's a big stadium. It's a big environment, and depending on where that time slot's going to fall, could change a lot of things. You saw A&M at home beat Alabama, so it's possible. However, look, Arkansas, we're going to play them in a little early game. I think that we're going to be able to make easy work of that, especially with what they're coming off of. They're scratching their head a lot. Now you got UAB. We're going to see Walker Howard earn them stripes. We're going to see us, get active, try some things that we haven't tried yet before, and get ready for that SEC title game. And then we're going to close things off in College Station against A&M. Hopefully we get to see that Max Johnson return. We fared pretty
Oh
well when we play
man,
guys that left our team, and now we get to meet him. Elias Ricks didn't like too much getting that PI
poor
called on
Ricks.
him, or just honestly getting trashed in the media all week.
Yeah,
This was a horrible, horrible homecoming for Elias Ricks.
wasn't his greatest. I mean, but yeah, LSU, we're right there into getting into the playoffs. Let's just finish this year off strong, and them guys are definitely going to do that with the way Brian Kelly's talking. Even right after the Alabama win, all the emotions are high, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? We'll celebrate this for 24 hours." And then we're going right on to Arkansas like nothing ever happened. He's programming these guys to like, hey, we did that. Next game, let's go. It's
Yep.
always the next game for this team. And what he's building is just strong. Like people say coaches are building stuff all the time, but you can clearly see he has this locker room. He has this program. He has LSU as a whole with him. Everybody is supporting Brian Kelly. You even seen President Tate at the game. He's on the
Yeah.
field. He's like,
He
yeah.
had to. He had to dabble in the celebration. You got that FOMO, fear of missing out. You want to be a part
Man.
of the history making. You want to be a part of the process, and Brian Kelly's process has been one unlike any other in college football. I've never seen a coach in their first year walk into a pressure filled environment. He's getting ridiculed left, right, and center. He can't win big games, they say. He's not for his players, they say. They say Brian Kelly and LSU, it's going to end bad. They're gonna see the true Brian Kelly. Like, man, you know what? I have seen the true Brian Kelly. He's a nice guy. He can get the
Great.
team rallied up quickly, and most importantly, they can get a W. They can get a W when the lights are bright. And no lights have been brighter than that Alabama game in Tiger Stadium. I agree, Carl Dunn. One of the greatest games in Tiger
One of the
Stadium.
greatest.
Greatest
One of the
game I've
great.
ever been to, at least.
Man, that's a memory that'll never go away.
It's insane. And the fact that we were able to just see this whole Brian Kelly uprise was really, really exciting. I talked to Jack Besh last night. One of the first things I told him was, man, it's been great to see y'all guys grow into what y'all have grown into and just develop into what you develop into. You can't
100%.
help but be happy for the guys. You see them busting their tail, you see them going through the trials and tribulations, and now they're here. We talked to Brian Kelly throughout the week about the adversity and the distractions and how to handle this and how they're gonna game plan. And they put in real man hours, real blood, sweat, and tears. They tried everything. They changed the scheme, and it worked. And I bet Brian getting choked up and just all the emotions in the stadium, crediting the fans, the 12th man. We're gonna go ahead and take that from A&M because they can't even sell out a stadium this year. But LSU's really putting together something special, and it's looking like we're returning to
Glory
dominance.
days?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think that LSU's heading in the right direction, and quite frankly, you know seeing what we did to Alabama, it gives me hope for the fact that maybe we can shock Georgia. Georgia almost had a couple rough patches. The Missouri game sticks out the most to me. I even debated
Yeah,
going out there and
for sure.
waving the white flag for Georgia when I was watching
Hey,
that. Like, man, Kirby's smart. What's going on? The guys kind of got shell shocked early, but they've also had a lot of calluses throughout the season. They put in a pressure performance over Tennessee. Glad to see Tennessee lose by 2 touchdowns, so we can stop the noise.
that
2019
that was rough.
comparison?
Come on, the
What?
2019 comparison was actually
Like,
outlandish. They're like,
bro.
oh, Tennessee might be better than 2019 LSU. No, come
There's
on,
no way
stop
that
it.
you can see how these
Stop
college
it.
football players from 2019 LSU transition into the league, such as Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. You can't compare Tennessee to
You
these guys.
can't.
These
Come
guys
on,
are
dog.
bona fide superstars, one in a million. Like, it's never going to happen again. Tennessee is successful. They're explosive, but they can't get the job done. If
Nope.
they could, they would. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Didn't happen. Now you're out the top four. Now you got to struggle to get back in. Can you even do it? Probably not. We'll meet Georgia in the SEC
Hold up.
championship.
So
That's my
watch
bet.
this. If this LSU team, how we were after Alabama, if we were to face Tennessee right now, you think we're winning?
I think that I'm gonna take that Rocky Top song, pull that thing out of the cassette player, whatever we got going on in Tiger Stadium, and we're putting Colin Baton Rouge in. And I'm going to stomp on
Yep,
that
yeah.
Rocky Top disc. I'm tired of hearing that. Peyton Manning, I'm sorry. I'm one of your biggest fans, but guess what?
Yeah.
Tennessee just can't do it.
Hey, after that Tennessee game, I remember BK said the score, the gap margin, it was huge, right? It looked like we got blown out. But he said in all reality, it was just a couple things the team did wrong that led to that. And I 100% believe it was always just a little bit of errors. Just we couldn't get that pass off in time. We couldn't make that tackle. We couldn't get off that block. We couldn't get that route timing correct. Once we fixed those small little mistakes, this team looked completely different. It's not like we
Completely
changed
different.
players. It's not like they went on a completely new diet or
Right.
whatever.
No
We just
quarterback
fixed it. Like,
change.
no, it's the
Yeah.
same team, just little small mistakes that we had to fix. And that's expected of a team with a new coach, a new quarterback, a new system. Everything was completely new for this team. They had to come and they had to adjust. It took a little longer than expected, but we see how high this team can get when everyone is on the same page, when all 11 players are playing the same football with the same mind. We see how good this team is.
And that speaks volumes to the coaching staff and how they're able to get everyone on one common goal, one common mission, and bought in 24/7. You got a lot of egos to handle, especially at college, especially with NIL, and especially when you have these lights so bright. It
Yep.
was hard to control, guys. You got Kayshon and Elias Ricks this close to each other. You saw Kayshon in the player interviews this week say, "Yeah, these guys are average. You know, there's nothing special." He's out here pretty much. He's out here saying that
Kayshon's
they're
hilarious.
not gonna be nothing different, nothing he hadn't seen before. You know, and he was right. He led the team in receptions. He showed up big. He did his thing.
Talk
He
about
did his
showing up
part.
big.
Shout out Malik Neighbors too, 6 catches as well. What confused me was Armani Gilman with the one rush.
Man,
That
that
was
was kind
interesting.
of,
I'm wondering if he's a little hurt still.
he might be banged up, but our running back stepped up when Armani wasn't able to get. I mean, Josh Williams, he is. I did some research on him. I was working on a story for him this week, and just hearing his story, having the smaller D1 schools look at him, he's like, nah, I'm going to go take my chance at LSU. He comes in as a preferred walk-on. He grinds. He's patient. He works hard, and he waits for his moment. Now that he has that opportunity to really show the world who he is, he's a physical runner. He's not going to let you get him down on that first tackle.
Right.
You're going to have to wrap up and pray that somebody else is coming to take him out. And
Yeah.
even that might not work. He ran hard. When we needed that first down, he went for it. When we needed a touchdown, he dove. I mean, he's somebody who wants to play football for this team. He is completely bought into this mission, and he's like, hey, I'm going to put my body on the line if everybody else around me is going to put their body on the line. And he's doing it.
And that's the type of mentality you want in your running back one. I saw Josh after the game taking photos with his family, and I had to wave him down a little bit and give him a little flex and be like, "Man, we got it done. You got in there. You got nasty in traffic. You put that hat down,
Amazing.
and lowest man won." Josh
so
Williams
good.
went out there, performed 54 yards. He averaged 7.7 yards per carry. I mean, what a big time performance from a
Big
big
guy.
time player. I'm really
Hey,
impressed.
but the running backs wouldn't have been able to do it without that O-line. I mean, that O-line really, they put their cleats in the ground, they put their hand down, and they pushed. I mean, one of the biggest concerns was we're going against a very veteran Bama D-line. We're going against something like we have two freshmen on the line. They're like, hey, can Will Campbell, can they do this? It's a big time moment for these freshmen, and they held their ground
And
for the most part.
If Emery and Will can play like this in year one, what are they going to play like
Oh
in year
my
3?
God.
And I can't even say year 4 because they won't
They
make
might
it.
not be here for
They
year
won't
4.
make it. They're going to be in the league, getting paid like they deserve, making big boy pancakes, going out there and putting the hat down on Sundays. These guys are getting active early. It's insane to see. It really is.
Brad Davis is special. What he's making is special because the whole O-line seems to be like, hey, it doesn't matter who's across from us. We're going to put our head and we're going to block. We're going to block. That's their mission. They don't care who you are, what size you are, how fast you are, how big you are, how strong you are. They don't care about any of your little special moves, no club. They're going to get their hands on you and they're going to drive. And we've seen that all last night. I mean, Jayden Daniels looked comfortable in that pocket at times. He was able to really stretch out his plays, really see, hey, who's open, who's not.
I knew something was up when I saw Will Campbell come out with the ski mask. When I saw the ski mask
that
on Will
man is-
Campbell, I was
that man
like,
is
whoa.
When he gets locked in, he gets locked in. Like
Yeah.
he's one of them dudes. He has his headphones on, his ski mask. He's like,
It's time. It's time. And look, Jayden Daniels, I also want to give a big shout out to him in a sense where
Jaden
he's
him.
tough. He's resilient.
Jaden
He's getting
him.
hit, and he did slide. So
Yeah.
I'm glad he started to slide.
Thank
But the
God.
6 sacks, he's staying in the game, staying composed. I'm sure he's a little rattled a couple times, but I mean, I was really impressed with how well he's been able to hold up this year. You got Larry
Hey,
Francis in the chat saying he hopes the Saints are going to be able to draft Bryce Young because he kept them in the game with bad receivers. I agree. I think
that's
that
true.
I think
That's
that
true.
Bryce Young is a phenomenal talent. I was blessed to see him play live, man. I'm glad that I got to see that man do his magic in the pocket,
For sure.
get out of there, sling a couple pigs down the field. He did his thing, but at that defensive line pressure kind of hindered him, and it kind
Yeah.
of got him off his spot, like they were saying. They
Yeah.
focused on putting that pressure on him, and it was good. I think Bryce Young, his draft stock might have got affected Saturday though. That red zone interception,
That was
that
tough.
it's just he's already undersized. He's already got a lot of things going wrong. This year's not looking too good. And then you're gonna do that. He's got the shoulder injury still, so I mean, I don't know how much they're gonna play into this. There's just a couple red
For sure.
flags now.
I think, Bryce Young, he's a player. I mean, Alabama went out, they fought until the end. They weren't able to get the dub, but Bryce Young showed how he was able to keep that team composed the whole time. No matter what happened, no matter how many three and outs it was, his body language never shifted. He never looked angry. There were even times when they were down in that fourth quarter, you look at him, he's smiling. He's smiling, he's laughing under the helmet. He's always keeping a cool head. He's like, no moment is too big for him, and that's something I can respect out of any quarterback. That's going to translate onto the next level very well
I
when you're in these
agree.
tight pressure situations. And hey, let's take a second, let's step back, let's assess. And was able to get the job done, but I mean, hey, he went out there and he performed. Nobody would have thought that the defense would have held Bama to only field goals until the fourth quarter.
Right.
But he came out in that fourth quarter. He stretched out some plays. He found I can't get his name. Number 7 wide receiver.
It went from 15 to 14 at the beginning of the fourth quarter to 24-24.
Yeah, yeah.
What a flip. Final score's 32-31.
There was never a second where he said, "We're out of this game."
Yeah,
He kept
that
fighting.
that mindset that you spoke to about Bryce Young, that's right. Like he's locked in, and on our most recent upload, if y'all want to check it out, we spoke with Bryce Young for a little bit, spoke to Nick Saban, and I got to get inside the mind of Bryce Young during that Heisman campaign, and I asked him, how can you stay locked in when you know that what you wanted all year, the most prestigious award in college football, is at fingertips away. It's at your grasp. It's at your desire. You can go ahead and lock it up. And he said, you just gotta stay composed. You gotta keep yourself in the moment. Understand
For
what you got to
sure.
get done. And then Nick Saban said that obviously he's had a lot of players. Bryce Young was the second consecutive Alabama player to win the Heisman. Yeah, Mac Jones the year previously. So Nick Saban said when he has a guy like that in the moment, you got to let him know that they're not going to remember how you played a couple weeks ago. They want to know how you're playing right now. How did you play against LSU? He wants to keep him in the moment and whatnot. So that probably, contributed to Bryce Young's mindset tenfold. He's in there trying to keep himself hemmed in because he knows those scouts are watching when those lights get bright. You got Shaq in the building. You don't think you got a scout in the building? We're
Shaq's there.
Shaq'd in a fool right here
Shaq's
in
there.
Tiger Stadium. You had a lot of big guys in the building. You had Austin DeCalis. You had Cade York. You had Damone Clark. You had Andrew Whitworth, Super Bowl champ. You had all, man, you had it all. Wish you would have had the Lombardi. Would have
Man.
been crazy. Maybe they were too worried about NFL might have locked down the Lombardi after what Gronk did with the Pats.
Yeah, definitely.
I think LSU is gonna be seeing a ranking increase here soon. That AP poll is kind of interesting, and once that college football playoff poll comes out, it's like everyone's attention shifts from AP to
Yeah.
CFP because, like Joey Coco said in the chat, we got TCU at number 4. What's
That
going
was
on? What's
fuck.
going
Why
on?
is TCU a 4?
Let us play TCU, and then y'all are gonna
We're
rank us number
killing
1.
TCU.
Y'all are gonna rank us number 1 in the
Yeah.
country. Y'all gonna have to make our own ranking. You're just
AP
gonna put
polls are
champion
just
next to it.
AP polls are just man. You look at it for a second, you're like, all right, we're waiting for the real rankings
I'm
here.
I'm
We're waiting for the
confused. You
real
got
ones.
people out here putting Tulane over big time
TCU,
schools. I mean, you
Tulane.
can't sit here. Look, if you're biased and you're gonna vote Tulane
Yeah.
in because you cover New Orleans sports, it's one thing, I guess. I mean, if you
Yeah.
need to keep the local fans happy, but
Come on.
you can't sit here and,
Come
and,
on.
and rely on these guys no more. I think that CFP is what it is. I
Do you
think you
not think
gotta.
we're better than TCU? Come
Right.
on.
I mean, come on. Let's get real here. We got Notre Dame sitting at the bottom of the barrel as well, and what are they 23? Notre Dame just beat number
They
4.
just killed Clemson.
So I think the AP poll is getting exposed here as we see. I mean, no one really takes it serious. At the end of the day, we know what LSU's capable of, and we know what we're going to see. Before I graduate, I'm going to be seeing a national championship again. That's what I think. I
Hey,
think LSU's going to be able to get it done. I think LSU's got a lot left in them. What do you think about LSU, this SEC championship, this college football playoff? Give us your prediction, and let's see if we can go ahead and hit this one right on the nail.
whew, we're going to the playoffs. I mean, that's automatically set in stone. This team is going to carry out for these 3 games. It's going to be bang, bang, bang. We're going to get out of there. Do I think we have the potential to beat Georgia? I don't know. I really don't know because I'm like, whew, that team is nice. They're
Yeah,
big. They're fast.
experienced.
Whew.
They got a ring on the finger already. As
Yeah,
of
they
last
already
year.
do. They have a ring there, and when
And,
you
and
get that
Kirby
ring, you're not trying to lose it. You're trying
Kirby
to get
knows what
another one.
he's doing. But look, Brian Kelly knows what he's doing too.
He
Brian Kelly
does.
trusts
He
his play
does.
calling. He trusts his
He
guys. Look at
does.
that big 2 point call. Nah, we don't want to tie it. We want to
We
win.
want to win.
Take this thing home. Let everybody know the show is over. Mason Taylor's going to go ahead and get another
Hey,
grab.
and you know what? That's what I think about too, and I'm thinking about LSU versus Georgia. This is a team that doesn't give up. I mean, I've never seen them give up. Even in games they're losing, they refuse to call it quits. And I'm like, that has to chew at another team. That's going to get Georgia flustered a little bit. If
Yeah.
Georgia's winning and this defense comes back out, they're just as hungry. You see BJ running even harder. You see Perkins covering even harder. I mean, the offense throwing, getting people in the game. It's like, wow, they're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting. And I'm like, that might change things a lot because
Yeah. And
you keep this team motivated. BK is going to be there. They're going to get the plays. They're going to have the players they're going to put them in positions. And I think, you know what? If we are to face Georgia, I think we win.
I think that we have a lot of dark horse elements. I think the fact that we got Harold Perk 40 in here going crazy off the edge, getting to Bryce Young over and over and over. I think that Arkansas, with the huge momentum deflation that they had, I
That
mean,
was
they're
rough.
already having a rough year. That makes it even worse. They're going to go ahead and take care of that. UAB, easy work. A&M doesn't have the connection, the chemistry, the
Oh, this
consistency. They don't
drive.
have anything. They cannot work. If you put Max Johnson on the field against LSU,
They're
it'll
going to
be
kill him
horrible. It'll be a catastrophe. Jay Ward's going to go get 32 sacks by himself. I
by
mean, I
himself.
think that we're going to be able to win out this year. We're going to go to the SEC championship, and we're going to show the country that we're not going to back down. Look at Florida State's LSU. Look at the LSU right around the beginning of the season, right
Yeah.
before we had these calluses of Auburn and Florida and Ole Miss and now Bama. Look at them before then. People are questioning it. All right, all right. Now they might be questioning, can they win the SEC title game? Well, guess what? There's many more calluses to come. Like we just said, Alabama,
For sure.
boom, big momentum boost, big amounts of experience. Now we know we can get it done. Now you're going to go do the same thing against another SEC West team, Arkansas, A&M. I think that they're going to be able to level up, get that XP, go get some upgrades. Might go get some VC. You know what I'm saying? Gonna have to boost some skills before the SEC title game, and I think they'll be able to put up a good fight. Georgia's, they fought tooth and nail a couple
They
times
do.
this year. They came out on top, but at the end of the day, I trust LSU. I've trust
Hey.
LSU. We get the better of Georgia in that SEC title game. They throw Georgia in there because it's like the SEC East is just Tennessee once again is going to come up short. But I think LSU almost could bust in the CFP at number 3, number 4 for sure. I think, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised to see LSU take this SEC championship. Brian Kelly in his first year in the conference people questioned if he can even survive in, and he's going to go out there and hoist up that SEC title, and he might even
Hey,
get a berth for the Tigers.
imagine how crazy that would be if in his first year he bring it all the way home. Oh my God. The partying on LSU just alone would be crazy. I mean, that atmosphere would be, oh, just thinking about it gets me hyped up.
I'm going to the SEC championship. If we go
I'm
there,
going.
we're gonna have exclusive content just like we had all season if LSU's making it. And quite frankly, I don't
What?
even need to say if because I'm almost that confident. We got people in the chat debating on if LSU can get past A&M like last year with an even worse team. We didn't. They went out there,
Yeah.
got some recruits, yeah, but those recruits are also smoking pot in the locker room before the game. So how did that work out? You can't buy chemistry.
No,
You can't buy
no,
culture. Brian Kelly knows how to develop it, and it doesn't look like Jimbo Fisher does. If Brian Kelly can get a team like they had a rough year last year. They're barely above 500. Coach O had that locker room in shambles. People leaving left and right. It was an airport, LSU, in and out, in and out, in and out.
in and
Now
out.
we're making serious noise. I don't think we're even in the same league here. I think that LSU is going to go out there and they're going to go ahead and get the job done, lock Bama out of the playoffs.
Yep,
People can't
get
seem
them
to
out.
accept it. Guess what? That Bama dynasty is coming down. Nick Saban's 71 years old. It's not going to last much longer, guys. Let's be realistic here.
All good
Look,
things come to an end.
it is. It's true. Bryce Young leaving will cause a lot of headaches. It'll confuse Nick Saban in a way he's never been confused in a long time. I'm sure they got a lot of good talent, a lot of good development coming in. But guess what? LSU's come and take some of that talent y'all think y'all are bringing in. And quite frankly, Auburn's head coach could change a lot in
Yeah,
Alabama. If it's a Lane Kiffin, if it's a big name, Nick Saban lost a lot
might
of
shift the
juice.
momentum in Alabama for
A
sure.
lot of juice can be lost here if Auburn can land this higher.
Just a really rough season. I mean, losing to Tennessee and then losing to LSU is
Both on
like,
the road.
wow.
Both on the road.
I mean, that's not something you would expect if. Whew.
I'm grateful for it, though. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be going live again. I'm going to be going live before the Arkansas game that we're going to go ahead and handle. I'll be going live after it. We'll be
Bye,
celebrating.
Arkansas.
It's going to be a birthday stream. My birthday is November 12th. Make
Wow.
sure y'all tune in. Thanks for.
LSU's going to catch a dub for you.
Hey, got to. I got to tell the boys. Y'all got to go ahead and give me a little birthday celebration when y'all score that touchdown. JD5 is going to do some magic. I mean,
Amazing.
if we're going to go ahead and torch Auburn, torch Florida, go ahead and take care of Ole Miss, take care of Bama. What makes y'all think we're not taking care of Arkansas and A&M, man? That's the
It's
lowest.
easy.
That's the
It's
bottom of the
easy.
barrel. We already took
It's
the top
easy.
dogs out. Now we're gonna go put the little pups out and take them for a walk once or twice around the block that we own. This is the SEC West. LSU has it. Y'all heard it here first. We have all the exclusive content going crazy on socials, on TikTok, on Instagram, on everything. Make sure to follow. Links in the bio. Subscribe to the channel. Like the stream. Share the stream. Go ahead and tell your mother about the stream. Be a friend. Tell a friend. The Vert and Verdict Sports Show. LSU on top. Let me get a Go Tigers in the chat from everybody.
Come on, go Tigers, baby.
Go Tigers. Thanks, David, for pulling up. Big win.
Always, man. Big
Looking
win.
forward to another one. Go Tigers.
We're going to the chip.